We're now going to look at adding a combo box to our UI and just see how we can configure that and use it. So I'm going to drag a combo box on from the palette here, and I'm going to pop it before the or after the enter your name before the text box. Okay, so a combo box basically gives us a drop down. I'm going to use it to get the title of the person that I want, so we can say hello Mr. Smith or Miss Jones or whatever we want. Okay, and this is going to need a bit of setting up, so I'm going to tick this custom create box in order to make that happen. Okay, so once I've done that, you'll notice it immediately, I clicked it, it took me immediately from here down to this create UI components method, and it's got this to do in it here. This didn't exist, this wasn't here until I clicked that box. Okay, so we need to do a little bit of work to get it going. One is, you'll see it's added here a JComboBox. Again, that happened when I dragged it in, a bit like when we dragged the other buttons in. But if you hover over it, it's saying raw use of parameterized class JComboBox. Now we'd see that same thing if we did something like this, private array list, okay? Because normally, wait, so let's ignore those brackets. Normally, when you created an array list, if we import it, you would say what type of array list. It might be an array list of strings or some other kind of object. So we've got this same problem here. Let's get rid of that import statement, in that it's saying, well, it doesn't know what sort of thing the combo box is going to display. Well, you might think, well, hang on a minute, all a drop down ever does is show you some text, okay? But actually, we can specify it to have other objects in it, because we might want to get more information out of those objects at a later date. Okay, now if we do put some kind of other object in the combo box, what it will do is it will call the toString method of whatever object it is and use that for display purposes. I'm just going to use string for now, but just bear in mind you can put lists of other things, or use a combo box to display other things, and it will just call toString on that object to display it. Okay, so we've now fixed that little problem, and we know that the combo box is going to be a combo box based on a collection of strings. Okay, we go back down to our create UI components. What we need to do is we need to add items to the combo box. Okay, but actually we also need to create it as a new combo box. So here we're just declaring it. Okay, because we're using this create UI component, and we've checked this custom create box, we have to basically say that our title combo box is a new JComboBox. Okay, this, if you think about it, when we normally do an array list, we'd say, you know, array list whatever equals new array list, and we don't have to specify the type on the right hand side. You can if you want, you know, if it helps you, you can put that in there, but it doesn't do any harm, and IntelliJ will tell you it's not required. Okay, so we just want to add some things to it, so we might say, you know, title combo box dot, and then we can add, and you'll see that there is an add item method, and you'll see that add item takes a string. Now add item only takes a string because the combo box is a combo box for strings. If it was a combo box for bananas, then it would ask us to add a banana. So we can do add, and because it's a string, we can just create a string literal and just do that. So we can say, for example, doctor, let's just do a few. So we could do doctor, miss, Mr, Mrs, Professor. That'll do for now. So there we go. We've got our items, and they will be populated into that box when our application runs. So let's just test that and restart our application. It's probably going to put it up on my other screen. Yep, it has. And you can now see that we've got that drop-down list with items that we can select things from. Now obviously we want to be able to do something with that, so likely what we would do is we'd come here and we'd pull the title out of the combo box. So to do that we could say string, because that's what it is, string title equals, and then we could find our combo box, which is called title combo box, and there's a get selected item, and that will give us, because it's a combo box of strings, it will give us a string back. Obviously if it's a combo box of widgets, we'd get a widget back, so on and so forth. it's complaining about that. Let's see why it's complaining. Aha, that's odd. What have I done wrong there? Told us it was going to get a string, didn't it? Get selected. Ah, no, right, okay. So, this is not as helpful as it could be, because I was expecting it to give us back a string, despite the fact that we've said, like a list, when we use get on a list, it will give us a string back. If it's a list of strings, it will give us a banana back if it's a list of bananas. But clearly, despite the fact this is a combo box of strings, it doesn't. So what we need to do, we know, because we've made it a combo box of strings, that when we do get selected item, the thing that's going to come back is going to be a string. Now a string is a type of object, just like everything else. So what we have to do is we have to tell, we have to say that this variable is, we know that this is, it's going to be at least an object, but we know it's a string because it's coming up for strings, and we can do what's called a cast. So we put a bracket round, brackets in front, and we specify what type it needs to be treated as. Okay, so we know it's a string, so we can say we'll cast what we get back from here as a string and store it in title. It might be safer to put it, or not safer, easy to understand, we put it on a separate line. So we can say object, object from combo box equals that. And then all we're doing here is we're saying treat the object from a combo box as a string, and then we can store it in title. And then what we can do is we can say hello space plus title plus space plus name. Okay, and if we relaunch that and bring it across yet again, we can do that, and there we go. We've got our greeting. So that's it. So that's how we can get information from a combo box. There, as I say, there are various different types of things we can use in IntelliJ in the form designer, but that's just an example of how we might use one of them.